From New York, it's Get Off My Lawn with Gavin McInnes.
Let me just make something clear. If you say African American, you don't know any black people. That's what it means, too. That's what the word has come to mean to me. It means I admire them, I love them, but they're not in my world, and I don't really know what to call them. With a look more commonly associated with heavy metal than with punk at the time. Anyway, it's a very important story to me, but I understand if you don't give a shit. Today's MLK Day. We shouldn't be working here. It's racist.
Oh, man.
I considered wearing blackface, so in a way, that was our homage to MLK, to not wear blackface.
Right.
I feel like I'm helping.
We had a whole thing planned, and then once we found out, we canceled it, so that's...
Yeah, it's like when I gave you that check for $387, and then you owed me $100, and I said, you're up $287.
Yes.
Even though I was just paying you back for money you spent on the studio.
True.
Same thing. We were going to do blackface. We didn't do it because it's MLK, so you're welcome. We contributed to equality today. Right?
I have a dream. Did you have any dreams last night? This would be a good time.
I said the earth gave me ashes.
Oh,
and then in my dream, I kept telling everyone why I have hemorrhoids and showing them the move I was doing. I couldn't wait to tell people. No, I think this is a consequential day because this was the end of racism. His assassination, 1969. The FBI is putting up all these little memes. Thank God for Martin Luther King. Dude, you were up his ass. You were spying on him. You don't get to say, oh, Martin Luther. You mean the guy you had on a terrorist watch list? No. You cannot say, God bless Martin Luther King when I think they tried to assassinate him too. Oh, there's the garbage. Yeah, they didn't just say, we have to monitor this guy. I think they may have tried to kill him. Maybe they did kill him. Who knows? But as far as I'm concerned, this is a controversial belief. Racism died in 1969. That was when America said, all right, we liked Martin Luther King. We didn't care about race until you killed him. And then we said, fuck this. We're getting involved. And from 1970 on, it was cool to be black. And we did everything we could to incorporate African Americans into American mainstream culture. Now, you want to talk about Jim Crow. Obviously, slavery is bad. But that's all justified. But as Matty Odell points out, if you're born after 1970, shut the fuck up. And unfortunately, I would say around the time of Ferguson, Americans went, you know what? White Americans, actually all non-black Americans, Lebanese, Asians, they said, you know what? We kissed your ass for half a century and apologized. It didn't work. You seem to get more angry, so we're done. You can have Chicago and Baltimore and New York City. We're moving, and it's up to you. We already gave you Philadelphia. You made a fucking shithole of them all. But that's what this day means to me. This was the day that racism ended. Oh, yeah? And then they just list a bunch of bad shit that happens to black people as if it's proof that racism still exists. No. Just because someone's incarcerated disproportionately doesn't mean that you're living in a racist society. Just because blacks are poor doesn't mean that I made them poor. It's time for some culpability. Speaking of nigger faggots, Ethan Klein, on an old episode, made it clear that he loved saying that.
Okay, so first of all, when we first invited Jordan, I was talking about politics. Right?
So that was the old Ethan Klein. He would say rude words, and it was a controversial, edgy comedian. He's sort of like that, what's his name? The indie rock critic with the big glasses who's bald.
Fantano.
Fantano. He's sort of like Fantano in that he was the edgy, troll, funny guy. And then he decided, I'm going to get woke. And everything woke turns to shit. So his listenership has plummeted. It's down to almost as low as mine. And he's desperately trying to fix things. So that involves deleting his Jordan Peterson podcast. This is ancient news by now. This was all last week. And so Jordan Peterson retaliated. And he said, look, dude, you cancel me, now you're part of the cancel world, and they will hold you to standards you can't possibly attain. Then you're going to be next. And he is next now. People are pulling up the N-word, F-word rants that he would do and exposing him for his hypocrisy. He's pretending that he never knew who Jordan Peterson was, which is obviously a lie. It's all out there. You can see him saying, we got Jordan Peterson back. He's a lot of fun. Here he is, folks.
Okay, so first of all, when we first invited Jordan, I wasn't super familiar with him. I just saw kind of the phenomenon around him.
Yeah.
And he is a doctor. He's a psychologist of some renown. And I was like, well, I'd seen him on other shows, and I thought, and then someone was like, hey, you should have this guy on. And I was like, okay, I was inviting everyone on at the time. And so he was on, and we didn't talk about politics or anything. We talked about like psychology and shit like that. So I found it really interesting. Just
now it's canceled.
I thought the conversation was great. It was a really interesting
Having
conversation.
these guys. So now he's canceled. By the way, just stop. Fuck off, Ethan. The deal breaker. I think he's trying to kiss Hassan Piker's ass. He's got a weird sort of a gay admiration for him. I think he sees him as an alpha male. It's a problem in the Jewish community too. When they're around alphas, they emulate them. Like Henry Winkler playing the Fonz, what's his name playing Boner in Sha Na Na, Andrew Dice Clay playing a tough Italian guy, Joey Ramone playing a tough Italian guy. I don't quite get it, but Ethan seems to be doing that with Hassan Piker. And I'm sure he's getting his accolades from Hassan, but it's not translating to ears because we're sick of that shit, moron. What'd you think? And then he doubles down and he starts attacking Jordan for having a messy room. Saying, you think you owned me, but your room looks like shit. It's like, yeah, his world was falling apart at the time. I'm sorry he wasn't as tidy as he could have been. I mean, attacking Jordan Peterson really shows how far left we've gone. He's a fucking liberal. The only thing right-wing about him is he doesn't love the idea of infinite pronouns, which no one did 5 years ago. So... And the fact that all these lefties are Xing people because they don't support the government really shows who they are. They're cunts. They're pussies. They're weak. They're betas. They want to be led. They're sheep. And what do sheep do when they're confronted with wolves? They say, go get him. Kill him. He's a danger to the rest of us. I mean, what could be less interesting than going with the government's hysteria over COVID after 2 years of this shit and everything they say being bullshit?